guys, welcome to my channel, Bliss and Beauticool with Avon and Angeline. Today I am coming to you with a different video. This is more of a lifestyle video, and I find that it was packed with a lot of lessons. So when you learn what you got to do, you got to teach, you got to share it with others. And so that's why I'm coming to you to share with you. As you may or may not be able to distinguish from my accent, I am Caribbean and Jamaican to be specific. I grew up with a mother that she didn't consider herself a super cook or a super baker or anything, but she made these delicious Jamaican sweet potato puddings. And I never thought I would ever be able to do it because it just seemed like so much work and so complicated. And sometimes she would be like, "Oh, I don't want to do it because it's just so much work." And over the years, I've liked it, and I've not been able to make it myself. That was my phone, these home phones. Anyway, and but my husband loves Jamaican stuff and Jamaican puddings, and he's a dessert man, so he loves puddings and so on. I always say, the thought came to, try it. I'm like, I can't, because I'm always telling myself I cannot bake, and to bake a complicated thing to me, like a sweet potato pudding, I'm just like, absolutely not, but my sister-in-law, Jam, she bakes, and she does toto, she does banana bread, she does sweet potato pudding, she does all of these things, and I'm just like, so one day I decided that I'm gonna check YouTube. YouTube is my go-to place, I promise you. Everything I check YouTube. So I said, let me check out the recipe, what it is like to make, because she got me onto Toto, and I made the Toto, so that gave me, a little boost. Catch those lessons, guys, catch those lessons. I was telling myself I can never bake, right? And then, based on her sharing, I decided to give baking a try. Of course, I do, these box cakes, little light cakes, and so on every now and again. But sometimes I mess even that up. But anyway, anyway, having succeeded with doing the toto, I got a little confidence boost, and then decided that, hey, I'm gonna be trying the sweet potato pudding. I said it to my husband, and he was like, okay, I'm like, oh, that's encouragement again. I guess because the totals weren't working out too bad. And if you're not Jamaican, you probably, these are things that are not quite familiar to you, but these are Jamaican delicacies that we eat. And another day I'll share a video about the toto. But anyway, I decided to, what, I told him, he said, okay, yeah. And he said he would grate the sweet potato, which is a part of the hard work that my mother used to talk about. These days people blend it or use their food processor, all those things. But he said he wanted it to be grated because he thinks the texture is better if it is grated. And so he says, you do it. And I'm like, okay. And so I said, oh, well, why not? Let me try it. And so this past weekend, I did it. And it turned out very well. Now, I did not video the proceeding because I really was not confident enough. And plus, I do not, my videos are raw. I do not do a lot of, I don't do any editing of my videos. And so I was thinking it was going to be too long and all of that kind of thing. You hear my rice cooker going, if you can hear it. I'm making dinner. But anyway, and I decided to try it. Now, some people, just in case you think of doing it, as a Jamaican or not, it is actually simple. It really is. It really is. The ingredients are not a lot, and sometimes we get a little fussy about the measurements and all of that, and it makes sense. If you're not familiar with, you want to know exactly what you're doing. So I'm just going to give you a guide now as to what you would need to do it. And like I say, it is simple. Of course, the first and most important ingredient is the sweet potato. So to me, 2.5 pounds of sweet potato that you would buy. And of course, there's a whole thing about sweet potato. It's not the American yams. It is sweet potatoes. Um, and there's a thing also that's called batata, which is translated mean potato. That is also something that is used as well. Sweet potato that's available in most stores. Now, if you're using 2.5 pounds of sweet potato, that's what I use. Then the other main ingredients that you would use are things to bind the potato to make the dough. And so those binding agents are flour, so that would be a cup of flour. Then most people, most of us, and I did too, put a half a cup of cornmeal in it as well. That also helps to bind the sweet potato to make the dough for the pudding. And remember, this is a pudding, not a cake, and so it's heavier and so on. And then the other items, of course, some sugar because it is a dessert item. And I use a cup and a half of sugar. Now it was a little sweet, and so next time, because I use the dark sugar, and it's real good sugar that we get from Costco. Not to give Costco a plug or anything, but it is the truth. And it's so it was a little bit sweet. So next time I would use a little less of the dark sugar. Then I use so those are like the main major ingredients after the sweet potato. Then the other things are the spices. That's the other set of things that you would use for it. So with that you would get the nutmeg, the cinnamon, some people use mixed spice, salt. Salt is very important, regardless of what they say. Anyway, that's another story. Um, Salt. Some people use the mixed spice and vanilla. If you can get the real vanilla extract, then that would be good. Now, additional items that are used is rum, Jamaican rum. The rum is used more as a preservative more than anything else because you don't put more than like 2 tablespoons of rum in there. Now, for the nutmeg, it would be like a teaspoon and a half. The same thing with the cinnamon, a teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of vanilla, and the same amount, 2 tablespoons of rum that you would use for that amount of mixture. Now, another main ingredient that is used to make the pudding is coconut milk. Now, coconut milk is something that is sold in the stores in a can, and there are various brands that are available, and it is also sold by a Jamaican company called Grace in a packet as well that you can get, and that would be 2 cups of coconut coconut milk. Then so those are the ingredients. Like I say, it is simple. So it is the sweet potato, then the flour, the cornmeal, the sugar, the coconut milk, which are like those 4 main ingredients. The rest of ingredients are spices. And of course, some people love the vanilla taste, some people love the cinnamon, and so on. So, in my opinion, and I remember I'm no expert, I'm no baker. In my opinion, you can go as you like with those things because some people love certain things, some people don't like certain things, and especially if you're doing for your household, you know what your family like and so on. So you can go big or little on those items, in my opinion. Again, what I did was, and based on, of course, YouTube again is my place, and I looked at other YouTubers, Jamaican YouTubers who made the pudding, and I looked at a number of them, and just kind of cut across all of them and just created my own thing. I did all my liquid ingredients before. My sister-in-law Jam told me that what the thing to do is to sweeten the coconut milk. So the sugar I mixed, and I saw other YouTubers do the same thing. With the coconut milk, I added the sugar to the coconut milk and mixed it out until it is dissolved. In that, I would then add to that the vanilla, which is the other liquid ingredient that is put in there. The rum, what I did was to soak the raisins. I did use some raisins overnight in the rum. And so that was what I did with the rum, which, it would still get to be a preservative in it in general, but that was what I did with the rum. And then all the dry ingredients I mixed together: the flour, the cornmeal, the all the spices and the salt and so on. Mixed them together. So I ended up with like 3 different mixtures. So I had the sweet potato in one bowl. I had all the dry ingredients, and then I had all the wet ingredients, the liquid ingredients. Then I started to add all of them with the together. And so little by little I added to the flour, I added some sweet potato, I added some liquid, and kept adding and adding and adding and added until everything was together. And the mix that you get is not as runny as a cake and not as doughy as the toto. It is somewhere in between, where it's thick and just running just a little bit. And then I put it in the pan, in a pre-greased pan, and the recommendation is for the oven to be at 350 degrees. Now mine was a little big, and so it's a little big. It was big-ish. So so I used 400 because my oven, for some reason, at 350 I don't get too much out of it, so it would take too much longer. The recommendation that I understand that most people say is 350 for, it seems like about an hour and a half. You watch it to see, now this is one thing that when you stick the knife or whatever you use in it to check it, it's not to come out clean, because remember, it's not a cake, it's a pudding. So it would have some residue on it, but it's not supposed to be like liquid form. And it smells cooked. I mean, it's just delicious. It really is. And so that was my pudding, and it turned out real nice. Now my husband is a real serious critic, and he said to me, it was good. And I was like over the moon about that, because he's really critical about these things, and he knows these things. He knows how they're supposed to taste. And so this is my pudding. Sorry I could not share the video. I mean, I didn't record it at all, but this is it. And let me just tell you, for the fruits, if you're adding fruits to these things, it's good to coat it in some flour. I did that, and it really worked. If you see, the raisins are all, spread throughout. I have some on top here, and it's spread throughout because I coated it with the flour. So it worked out very well. That was my my experience with my pudding, and it worked out good. I think, we don't need to be fearful of doing these things. In the same way, we keep telling ourselves. I mean, I keep telling myself for years too that I can't bake, and I also tell myself that I'm not a salesperson. I'm in sales. I need to get over that. The same way I get over my fear of baking, and I'm doing it now, and I will be trying other things as well, and hopefully I'll be able to share those with you as well. So I made my pudding, and I am over the moon excited about that. I wish I could share it. If you're close to me, then I'd definitely be willing to share it with you for you to taste and let me know what you think about it. But that was my pudding, and I'm excited. But listen, the bigger lesson is I'm always looking for the lesson in the things that we do each day. The bigger lesson is don't be fearful of doing anything. And as a matter of fact, the more fearful you are of doing something, the more you should do it, because it's all in our mind. It's all a mental thing for the most part. I mean, if you have an illness, then that's different. But for the most part, it is fearful because it's backed into a situation. We would definitely do the things that we're saying we can't do, you know. And so let's do it, let's do it, because there's lots of things that we can be doing. And that's my oven going off there. And there are lots of things that we could be doing. We could be accomplishing so much more, because we keep telling ourselves that, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'm not this, and I'm not that. Bull crap. Let's stop it and let's do it, because there's nothing greater than taking action and changing that mindset and coming out of our comfort zone and doing the things that we need to do. So God bless you. You stay blissful. Work towards your bliss. Work towards your better you. And you stay beauty cool. Be beautiful and be cool with others, because you never know who you might meet on your way up or down. God bless you. One love, and enjoy a piece of pudding today.